this is the realized price, right? The average cost basis of the market. And what I like about this is that the vast majority of the time, this realized price is going up, right? So this is people taking profit. Now, this gives us an idea of where a bottom of a bear market could be. But what's also interesting about it is that sometimes it slightly goes down, right? During a bear market, some people do have to realize losses, right? So the vast majority of the time it goes up, but every now and then it goes slightly down. And if we look at this chart in a bit more detail, when you look at this, here we've got the realized price change. Percent change. So when this is green, of course, people realize a lot of gains. When this is red, though, some people realize losses. And so this gives us another idea of why currently we might not yet be at the end of a bear market. During prior bear markets, we always had some people having to realize losses, or the realized price went down. So far, we do not see the market as a whole realizing losses. There's still profit taking going on. And if history is any indication, right, whenever we went into a bear market, we needed to have some kind of capitulation. We need to have some people that were willing to sell at a loss. We rather had the majority of people willing to sell at a loss. And while currently the profit realization is much less compared to what it used to be, and while this time the profit realization was also much more constant, we didn't see just one quick sell, but instead we saw constant profit taking. We don't yet have the loss realization. And that's another reason, right? Another on-chain reason why I think it's very unlikely that we've already bottomed out. I think that the bear market will continue. This year is the net unrealized profit and loss. So how much are people currently in net unrealized profit? And again, if the market in general is in negatives, if the average market participant sees red in their portfolio, and that's now just for Bitcoin, then we tended to bottom out in the past. Currently, we are not there. Currently, the average market participant is still 17% in profit. And so when people are in profit, there is a chance that that profit will get taken, at least partially. And that then more profit taking leads to declining prices. And that then once people have taken all of the profit off the table, people are realizing losses, people are actually giving up. That's the time to buy, when there's real capitulation. But so far, it doesn't look like we are already at those capitulation levels. Gerhard, let's get rich. If you must pick an altcoin, which one will you pick? I could pick an altcoin to bet on falling prices, but that's what I share with everybody that joins Premium, by the way. So if you're joining Premium, there's a, I haven't talked about this very often recently, but if you're joining Premium, I will give you upon joining, once you are in the Telegram groups, I'll get a message once you join all the Telegram groups, and then I will send you a trade, a relative valuation trade, where you bet on one falling altcoin while betting on betting on Bitcoin, right? You bet on rising price of Bitcoin while betting on falling prices of the altcoin. The altcoin has high token inflation. It tends to underperform Bitcoin very consistently. And so I said this in the early videos. I didn't say this recently that much anymore, but I will send you that trade. And if you enter that trade, and you do not make any money with that trade, so with the net position, right? Long Bitcoin, short the others. If you don't make any money with that particular trade after 1 month of holding it, then I will just refund the first month of Premium to you. So basically you are risk-free Premium. Of course, the trade is not completely risk-free. There is some risk to it, but I think the probability is very high that it makes money. And because I think the probability is high enough, I'm okay to give this money back guarantee. So that's how you can get your feet wet. You can make your first money with that approach. How it's not anymore theory only, but actually becomes into practical money making. It's with that trade. So I will just, once you entered the Telegram group, I'll just send you that trade, go long that thing, go short that thing, do this, use it on that platform. So that's Hyperliquid, right? Open that trade on Hyperliquid, keep it running for a month. And if after 1 month you don't have made any money with that net position, you just get the $125 back. So that's the offer. I might talk about this more often in the regular videos again. There's no altcoin I would pick to buy, but there are altcoins that are very good to short. Do you follow the cycle theory for commodities? No, I don't. I don't try to beat too many different markets. And this is probably where I'm quite different to most other people trading actively. Because most people try to do technical analysis on pretty much any different asset, and they use the same approaches for any different asset, and they try to beat different asset classes at the same time. So they're trying to beat crypto, they're trying to beat stocks, they're trying to beat commodities. I don't try to do that. I try to have exposure to all asset classes, but I do think it's a problem. I do think it is a mistake to try to beat them all, because it's hard to be the top trader in all of those markets. I try to focus on one market, that's the crypto market. This is where I believe I've got most edge. And then for all the other markets, I simply try to get exposure to them. I don't try to trade them too actively. I just have them for diversification, and I don't use them necessarily to time them better than the average, because returns are concentrated, right? There are a few people that make most gains, and the vast majority of people unfortunately underperforms. And so we have to put in a lot of effort to be among the few winners. And so regular technical analysis like rolling returns or like the drop from the all-time high can be used for any asset, but then we also have to use this in conjunction with other data that might be market specific, and then it's better to know that specific knowledge that most people might not have. So that's why I think it is important not try to time commodities specifically all the time. One popular argument that Bitcoin goes up forever due to 21 million fixed supply, but since we can buy sets or even smaller fractions, isn't the supply technically infinite? No, it's not. The supply is not infinite. We can split it up, but 21 million is a fixed supply so far. We are now currently at 20 million roughly. The last million will get issued very, very slowly. Bitcoin gets lost at a quicker rate than it gets mined. So actually the circulating supply is already shrinking. And so the only reason why it might underperform other risk-on assets over the next years is if the long-term holders that bought Bitcoin in the very early days sell at a quicker rate. But over, say, 100 years, it will definitely be higher if the monetary base continues to expand by its 6.8% per annum. So there's no question about this. Same way as, say, gold appreciates over the decades, right? Simply because the dollar devalues over time. But the appreciation comes in waves, right? There can be 10, 20 years of nothingness to then get all the gains within a few years. This is typically what happens. Assets get forgotten over time, and then they start to appreciate with the devaluation. They tend to reach some certain threshold. They appreciate faster than other things. Attention comes, momentum comes, rallies appreciate faster until we are at a reflection point. We can't grow any quicker. Then things turn around again. But that's why we get these kind of almost step functions in appreciation, why we don't see just constant growth of an asset over time. It's just a cycle of attention from asset class to asset class. This clip is coming to an end, but the entire episode is available over here. Just click this to watch the video. Take your time. Yeah, just click here. Looking very much forward to seeing you on the other side. Cheers.